A group of South African Jews for a free Palestine are protesting in Rosebank, Johannesburg. They are calling for a ceasefire to the Israel-Hamas conflict. They've been joined by veteran Palestinian activist Leila Khaled. Khayelihle Khumalo is there and joins us now. Kaya, good evening to you, and tell us what's happening where you are.
Well, that's right, Iman. So this is yet another initiative by the South Africans who are concerned by the current situation in Gaza. So they have quite a number of demands. But joining us now is one of the organizers here, Joe. So, Joe, thank you so much indeed for your time. First and foremost, I know that you're calling for the ceasefire in Gaza, but also you're joined by one of the veteran Palestinian activists, Leila Khaled, who has really made it very clear that South Africa should cut off diplomatic ties with the state of Israel.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, SABC. Absolutely, we had a veteran revolutionary, Leila Khaled, here calling on the South African government to cut all ties with the Israeli government. We, as the South African Jews for a free Palestine, stand very clear in articulating our position against the genocide currently underway in Gaza and in the broader context of the settler colonization of Palestine since 1948. So we are delighted to be surrounded by so many people here this evening who are recognizing that Zionism is a fascist project, who are speaking about the multiple ways that the Israeli government is in violation of international law, including international criminal law, international humanitarian law, the Genocide Convention, etc. But also recognizing that what is at stake here is much greater than the law. It has the acquiescence of the international community, the media, and what is going on. We are witnessing people being bombarded as they are evacuating, the bombing of a hospital, the shutting down of media, the absolute unspeakable genocide. And we stand very firmly in refusing to allow anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism to be conflated.
And Joe, what do you make of the developments in the Middle East? We've seen the US President Joe Biden going there, once again really pledging solidarity with the state of Israel, as much as we have seen a bit of consternation from some of the leaders in the Middle East. For example, the King of Jordan cancelling the meeting where Biden was supposed to meet with the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and also President Mahmoud Abbas. So what can the international community do to address this conflict for once and for all? I mean, it's one of the long-standing, intractable conflicts.
I think we need to recognize this as a settler colonial entity, right? I think we need to recognize Zionism as a settler colonial project that is deeply connected to anti-Semitism and to fascism. I think that's the first thing. I think we need to recognize this is colonial domination, it is apartheid, it is genocide. And I think in light of that, we need to recognize that this is genocide. The world should be calling this what it is. We need the right of return for all Palestinians. We need an immediate ceasefire. We need to also have a complete arms embargo to Israel, because what we know is also, as you mentioned, Joe Biden's support, the genocide that is taking place is with the full acquiescence of many within the international community. So we need a full arms embargo, and we need so I think these are urgent steps. I think for ordinary people to be careful, especially, and I speak to you as a colleague in the media. There is a media war happening as well, where the Zionist entity is really trying to shut down opposition, is spreading fake news. We know about the kind of spreading of propaganda and then the retractions and using the propaganda as a precept for genocide. We need to work against that at every stage. And obviously, I think, you see Spain has also come out in support of Palestine as well. So I think it's, I think the tide is turning, and I think those with any conscience, and especially those with any understanding of anti-colonialism and fascism, as many of us, and especially as many of us as Jews standing for a free Palestine whose ancestors came here to escape the self-same logics of fascism, that both governed the apartheid regime here and continue to govern the apartheid regime in Israel.
And just briefly, Joe, before I let you go, the issue of humanitarian aid is a pressing issue. We have been seeing the calls for the humanitarian corridors to be open, for Rafah crossing to be opened through Egypt and Palestine. What do you guys make of those calls? Just briefly.
I think that we're dealing with a siege. So there's water being cut off, there's power being cut off, there's internet being cut off. So the idea, I mean, first of all, this genocide needs to end. Second of all, occupation needs to end. Third of all, settler colonialism needs to end. The whole entity needs to be unsettled. And in the meantime, there needs to absolutely be humanitarian corridors. It's being strangulated. The people of Gaza are both not being allowed to speak, but the bombing of hospitals, the cutting off of water, our most basic life force. There's just it's unconscionable. So absolutely, that siege is part of the arsenal of genocide and apartheid.
All right, Joe, thank you so much indeed for your time. So Iman, that's one of the organizers here. Really, just a short while ago, Leila Khaled also addressed this crowd and really just talking about this massive resistance, saying that the Palestinians really remain steadfast in their cause for self-determination, but also calling for countries like South Africa really to really just come forward and be vociferous in making sure that they are eventually free.